What's up, everybody? This is Rick from TAC-HILL. Today, my friends, we got the 8 questions, 5 tags tag that I was given by David Pearson over at Really Big Monkey 1. Dave is just an incredible guy. I've watched him for years and years and years, and it's an honor to be tagged by you, brother. Thank you. So let's go ahead and hop into this. It's 8 questions and 5 tags. So number 1 is, what is your most memorable camp? There's a lot of them, but I would have to say probably one of my most favorite is me and Libby used to go out all the time, like probably twice a week at least, and go out to the rock quarry. We had a rock quarry in the town that we're from, and me and her would go down in there. We had a little $20 two-person Ozark Trails tent from Walmart. We'd go down in there and we'd camp out and we'd have fires and we'd drink beer and just relax, and it was awesome. Probably one of the most memorable is my buddy said he knew a way into a place, and we decided to go with him. We had 6 people with us, and we ended up having to hike up a 100-foot cliff, and that was scary. We had 6 people and 2 flashlights for the whole group, and it wasn't too great. In the morning, because we went at night, in the morning when we woke up, we found that there was an easy way down, and we should have just went that way to begin with, but we didn't know it was there. Alright, so number 2, do you prefer solo or social camps? I had answered this in the last questions tag that I was in, and I prefer solo sometimes, but more often than not I prefer the social camps. I prefer to be with my family and go out with my family and have fun with my family. Number 3, what is your favorite knife? And Dave got caught up on this one too, because he's a big knife guy, I'm a big knife guy, and a lot of the things that I've learned about knives over the years, as far as like building what I think is the perfect knife, comes from Dave Pearson. This right here is my B-Door Malaysian Parang. It's an excellent knife. It is not a full tang. Condor makes one that's a full tang, but the B-Door is actually made by craftsmen over in Malaysia. It is a hand-forged Parang. There is a place called myparang.com. You can see right here, Malaysian Parang. I did file this part down a little bit, put more like a Scandi grind on it so I can do some feather sticks with it. It is very sharp. There is a place called My Parang where you can order these, and they don't have the plastic handles on them. They actually redo the plastic handles and put wood handles, put brass pins, and then there's a brass guard that goes around it as well. You can get those. Just an excellent machete. But he's all about adapting his sheaths to carry other things, and you can see here I have some paracord hooked up to the Cold Steel Fin Hawk, and then I have a mossy oak saw on there, and then my ferro rod, and then on the back of it I braided on some Paratinder paracord from UST. I would definitely have to lean more towards machetes. This is the Condor Warlock machete. I had done a video back a long time ago talking about this, where I had ordered this knife, and when it got here it was bent, and finally I had gotten a replacement, but at that time I was just kind of burned out on it, and I've never even used this. You can tell no use on this blade as of so far, just because it really disappointed me with the customer service of Condor and all that. And I still want to say I love Condor just because their knives are so awesome, but that was a big disappointment. When you talk about, heavy duty knives, the Essie Hungles, that's definitely on the list of really vicious knives as to what they can get through. I would definitely say that machetes would be high on that list. This is the Aranyik Pakanep, made in Thailand. and just a little cheap leather sheath that I made for it. This sheath is nothing fancy, it just holds a knife basically. And then I have this one here from my good friend Houseboat Rob. This is its big brother. This is the E-Nep, the Aranyuk E-Nep, made in Thailand. Big, beautiful blade. But all in all, I would say my favorite knife lies within my SE6. I love this knife. I have set up a nice little kit for it and everything. This is definitely one of my favorite knives. It does have a finger guard on it. Some people don't like finger guards, but I find a finger guard to be instrumental. Because if you have to use this knife for defense, you want to be able to have that knife having a finger guard so your hand don't slide up the blade. A lot of people don't think that when you talk about like bushcraft knives and stuff. For example, here we have the Mora. This is the Companion HD. Okay, it's got a bit of a finger guard there, just a little bit. And it also has that rubberized handle. So this really, you can use this in a defensive situation if you had to. But it's just dangerous. A lot of the Pucos don't have finger guards. For example, the Mora Garberg. This one has a custom sheath that was given to me by Dino, my friend Dino. And then right here's another one of his sheaths. That's a Mora Eldris. And then over here I got a Mora Eldris from Josh over at JP Living Bearded. I always just call him Frog Tag. That's his name. So here's the Mora Garberg, and you can see there's no finger guard on there at all. If you were to use this in a self-defense situation, chances are very high your hand would slide up the blade. There's no rubber there to help you prevent it. I love this knife, and it's a fantastic knife, and it does everything you could ask and more, but it just doesn't have that finger guard. So when it comes to knives like that, I really do like the, this is the Pro C, the Mora Pro C. It has a nice big finger guard on it. Very helpful for when you're, if you need to use it for defense. It's very helpful when you have to stab at something. Very helpful for all of that. A knife should be used for purposes, and I understand that, but in the same, you want to have as many purposes for each knife that you have as you can. Here's another one that I'm a big fan of. It is the Mora 511. I made the sheath for this. I also patinaed the blade on it. The Mora 511, basic 511, is probably my favorite Mora out of all of them. Just because, number one, the affordability. These are super cheap. I mean, they're less than $10 for these. But also, it's got that really nice pronounced finger guard on it. Just an epic blade. Stays sharp, does whatever you need it to. But I'll show you a couple other knives as well. Give me just a second. So here's a couple other knives. Originally, when I found out about these knives when I found this company, I had found it from David Pearson. He was doing a video about one of the various machete videos that he does, and he had shown a very basic model. It was the Lynx, and I had picked one up, and this one here is the model. Oh, that's not on there. This is the Lynx utility knife, I believe is what it's called. I customized the handle on it and burned some logos into it, and then put True Oil on it. It came out pretty good. This knife is epic. It's an epic knife. It's got a really nice finger guard on it. Just works excellently. Does feather sticking amazing. This is it says Inox here, which Inox or whatever, that stands for stainless. So this is a stainless blade. Works really well. I'm not the biggest fan of the sheath, but the sheath works. Then here we have the Martini 121. This is a smaller, they call this the Ives Puco. This is the smaller one. They say it's more for women and children, but it actually fits my hand really nicely. No finger guard on this one, so you got to be careful when you're using it. Curly birch handle. Beautiful knife. No 90-degree spine on it, though. Mirror polished. Just an excellent knife. Comes in a really cool semi-style sheath. My friend, oddly enough named Dave as well, is he's from Norway. He is primitive Sami, and me and him talk a lot about the different Sami knives and stuff like that, where each knife has its own purpose and is only to be used for those purposes. And to me, that's kind of conflicting, because I come from a point of view of a knife must be able to perform a lot of tasks, and I think that's awesome that there are people who are able to have the ability to have one knife for each task, but they are in a group of many, whereas when you go out, you're usually a group of one or a group of five, maybe max. So being able to have a knife that does a lot of different tasks is important to me. And then the last one I'll show is the Martini 235. This knife is probably my favorite Martini knife right here. It does have a finger guard on it. It feels excellent in your hand. Again, no 90 spine on it. Just a beautiful, beautiful knife. And this is as well stainless. The other one is also stainless. Curly birch handle on it. Just excellent knives. I would have to say my favorite, though, my favorite knife still lies in the SE6. SE6 has got to be my favorite. I have used this knife so much that it's not even funny, and it just keeps going and going and going. I definitely stand by this knife. Okay, next question. Number 4. Where did you learn all your bushcraft skills? I've learned my bushcraft skills over the years. A lot of the knowledge that I have comes from David Pearson. As far as, like, knives and stuff like that goes, I've learned a lot from him. And like I said, I've watched his channel for years, guys. But also, I learned by going out and doing things, and I think that's the most important, is everybody needs to get out and do things. When you get out and you learn through trial and error, and you get out and you do things, I think that's the most important. So that's where I learned most of my stuff from. But also, I learned from all you guys. I learned from every aspect of life. I read a lot of books. I do everything I can to better be more prepared and understand the substantial importance of being able to thrive to survive. Alright, number 5. What is your favorite fire starting method? Right here. A Bic lighter. This was made for me by Carolina Chris Outdoors. I have wore it every single day since the day he made it for me. I have gone through 3 lighters with this thing. Bic lighter is the most important means and methods of starting fires to me. Now, the funnest is obviously ferro rods. Any kind of ferro rod. I love ferro rods. This one I have set up as a necklace, so that when you're out and about, you got it right there. You can just pop that and pull it off, start your fire, put it back on. I also have this here, which was given to me by Dino, and what I did is I wrapped some paracord around it and got it all set up so you can hook it on your pack. You can carry it if you want. And what this is basically, these are like jute twine wicks, and down inside I have a Nathan 4071 ferro rod, best ferro rods there are. Okay, and I have a high-speed striker, and then here's the they're like little jute wicks, little jute twine wicks. So it's like its own little self-contained fire starting kit. Oh, come on, go back in there. There we go. But I love ferro rods. Another method that I really like, which I learned from my brother Houseboat Rob. He showed me showed me how to do it, and was the driving force in helping me to create it and to figure it out. And that would be the bow drill fire. I know, Dave, that you're not a big fan of the bow drill fire. You like the hand drill. I want to move into learning how to do the hand drill. I'm really interested in that, and hopefully this year I can get that done. Number 6, what do you consider your most essential piece of kit? In true honesty, I would say a knife. A knife is the most essential piece of kit to me. It would be awesome to have a knife like this where it's set up with a whole bunch of options, but most of the knives that I actually carry that I would consider as a survival knife, they would be like that. So, for example, my SE6, I have a mirror on the back. I have high-vis paracord on it. I have the knife itself. And then up here in the little pouch, I have a beautiful ferro rod that was made by Nathan 4071 and given to me. And then I have a piece of fat wood in there. So I would have to definitely say a knife, because a knife and the ability to create fire, in my opinion, are the most important things to keep you alive. Get a drink of coffee real quick. My throat's getting bad. All right, number 7. Do you keep a bug out bag in your vehicle? No, I do not. When I had my truck, I had a good bit of kit in my truck, different things that I would need if anything happened. But now that I have this car, I have one of the key fob things, and the same thing happened to Joseph Russell. Broseph Russell Outdoors. Where's he at? Right there. Excellent dude. PBC, brother. He had accidentally hit the button on his key fob to open the trunk, and someone came by and stole his stuff. And unfortunately, I have several times put my keys in my pocket and hit that button, and the trunk opens up. So I've tried to make it so I'm not hitting it. Tried to figure out ways of putting it in my pocket so that it doesn't accidentally get hit. So I would get really mad, even if it was a low quality kit, I would get really mad if I left that in the car and the trunk got open and someone stole it. I'm all about helping anyone. If there's somebody who has a need, or who's homeless or something, and they need help, I will gladly kick them down stuff or help them in any way, shape, or form. But I cannot stand a thief. A thief is like the worst thing to me. And then number 7, what do you prefer to bring? Alcohol, wood, or gas stoves? I have this here I made. This is the first one that I ever made that actually worked. Little alcohol gas stove. This is a Vienna sausage can, and it works, but it doesn't work that great. I have this box here that was given to me by Brian back when he was doing Fatwood Emporium, and I've used it. As you can tell, it's kind of tight. I've used it for a couple burns. And then down inside of there, I can get it open. There we go. Down inside of there, I have this alcohol stove that was given to me by Dino, which I believe this, if I remember correctly, he said this was one of the items for the Community on Fire from Blue Collar Backcountry, if I remember correctly. And it came with this little gate, and now I've got char all over my hand. But I'm not really a big fan of the alcohol stoves. To be honest with you, it's not really my thing. There's these here, these Nesbit type stoves, and they have the little trioxane fuel tabs that go in them. These are just dangerous. There's no real nice way to put that. These are a dangerous piece of gear. I don't think that anyone should actually use these, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. If you do use one, any of you use one, I'm not insulting your gear. I'm saying from my point of view, these are dangerous. You have to be really careful where you set these. You have to be really careful when you use them. Flames will come out of the bottom and you will catch stuff on fire. They fold over so easy, you know. I've actually burned myself with boiling water because this thing did not function properly, and I spilt the water all over myself. In my opinion, they're just no good. Now, you could put wood in those and try and use them that way, but in my opinion, it is the stove that is the fail there. So let me grab this real quick. This here's one of my bags, and I keep in here, I got a Amora 511 Basic. It's a 2017 model, lime green. And then right here I've got my MSR kit. So this is the MSR Pocket Rocket 2. This thing is, as far as the stove goes, it is excellent. As far as using gas, it is just a wicked stove, and it heats extremely fast, and it's extremely strong. The downside to it is that you have to carry, got a bunch of stuff right here. It's just a ferro rod, a mossy oak knife. See if I can open it left-handed. Ah, look at that. Just a mossy oak knife. It's an exchange blade knife. But the downside to that, to the MSR, is the fuel. And you know, some people use the smaller fuel containers, but I figure, you know, if you're gonna have it, you might as well get the bigger fuel container, just because it allows you to have that much more if you need it. You know, I don't want to have to go through these really quick. I don't have the adapter to refill them, so you know, I really just, the bigger one to me seems more cost effective, and it just seems like a better idea. Now, as far as wood stoves go, I don't have any wood stoves. I have a couple that I use around the house for doing stuff, but other than that, I don't actually have any wood stoves that I carry with me as a piece of kit or a piece of gear. And the reason being is just because I would rather have a natural fire. I'm definitely more interested in getting out and actually starting a real fire, and you know, kicking back in front of that fire than actually having to sit and play with any of this stuff. Making a real fire to me is much more fun and that much more beautiful. So that would be the gist of that. I'm not a big fan of alcohol. Isopro stoves aren't too bad, but in true honesty, I'd rather just have a basic ground fire. And you know, you never know. One day I might buy me a wood stove, or I might make a wood stove and try it out, and you know, see what I think on it. See if it'll do what I want it to do. If for some reason my pack doesn't want to work with me right now. By the way, this is the Alice Pack Large. Oh, well, I remember. I had shoved my knife in there. It's catching on my knife. This is the Alice Pack Large. An excellent pack. The only downside on these packs is that with the Alice Large, you tend to want to overfill. Just because they have so much room, you tend to want to overfill them, even if it's not your intent. but I think I've managed to keep this kit relatively small, although it is kind of cook heavy, because I have the MSR pocket rocket with isopro and a container to cook in, and then on the other side I have my I'll show you. I have my Stanley. This is a bag I made out of a t-shirt. On the other side I have this little diver's pack right here, and then down inside of there I got some emergency and some different drinks for electrolyte and vitamin C and stuff like that. Some top ramen, and then my Stanley cook kit. It's got the little cup, and then the Stanley cooker with the green cups in it. And all I do is I just take that. It nests in the cup really well, but I don't want the rattle, so I put a piece of cotton there just to keep it from rattling so much. And then down inside of here I have a 3M scouring pad for it, so I can scour it and clean it out. But all in all, I think I've tried to go in a direction with this bag that is not overly heavy, but it's sitting right now at about 25 pounds. 25 pounds is, it's heavy. It's not super heavy. Definitely, I would say that I'm not an ultralight guy. I was actually just watching a video from Tim Watson on why you should not be ultralight, and I definitely agree. You know, I do use a lot of the military surplus stuff, and to me the military surplus stuff is way more effective than any of that high price stuff. I don't really have a whole lot of high price stuff just because I'm poor. But yeah, this is my large Alice. I use it not that much, to be honest with you, just because more often than not I'm carrying the medium Alice. But I do have this one set up pretty well for whatever you may need. It's got shelter, water, food, fire, all that. It works. Anyway, the last one is, that was it. So now I have to tag 5 people. The 5 people I tag are number 1, AOK Foraging and Adventures, TAC and Brenda. I'm relatively new to them, haven't watched a whole lot of their videos, but they seem like excellent people. So I'd like to get to know a little bit more about them, and this is a great way to do that. Number 2, Ed over at Grizzly Taco. Excellent gentleman. Love to see your response on that, Ed. Number 3, Justin over at Easy Prepper 101. Me and Justin have been friends for a long time, so I'd love to see you do that, bro. Number 4, Randy's WSG, which is the Wasteland Survival Guide. Randy D, excellent guy. Been friends with him for a long time. Would love to see him get back into doing videos, and maybe this will get him there. And then number 5, my good friend Donna over at Dream Creations and Adventures. So that's the people I tag. Hope you guys are having a great day. Sorry if this video dragged out for a long time, and I'm sorry if I sound like crap. I've been really sick, trying to fight through everything. So remember, my friends, in order to thrive, you need to strive to survive. And I'll see you later.